Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and this is a brand new show. Yay, power pose, Philip. This is Children Live What They Learn, and we will be doing this show every Friday, immediately following the power of etiquette and manners. So I'm super excited to introduce the star of our show. If you've been watching, he was just on the show before. Let's welcome back Mr. Philip SYKES. He is with us on Friday. Yay!
Power pose, absolutely. And this is such an exciting area that we are launching, ladies and gentlemen. For those of you out there, children learn what they live. Think about that. Children learn what they live. If we guide and steer them in a certain way, they will hopefully follow with some guidance and steering and hopefully in our footsteps. We're not trying to clone them. We're not trying to mold them. We're guiding. And that is the absolute key to this particular journey on Children Learn What They Live.
Philip, for people who don't know, you are the principal and founder of the British School of Excellence, and part of the offerings that you have include courses for children to learn etiquette and manners. Can you tell us more about that? And then we're going to bring out our special guest.
Wonderful. At our organization, for those of you who are not familiar with the history, we initially started out as the British School of Etiquette, and about 20 months ago, we decided to transition to the British School of Excellence, because everything we do in this world is how we show up. And if we can teach and guide our children from a young age, then that will hopefully continue to serve them well and generate some really dynamic consistency in all their good habits. So everything in life's about habits and developing good habits. And as an organization, we launched with a program called Etiquette, which focuses on, we start normally around 6 years old, because then we found that that is the sort of a good age to start working with. I mean, obviously we start as parents, hopefully guiding and seeing our children the moment they're born, and just being consistent in that. And that's something we found as an organization, and in our research and everything that we focus on when it comes to working with children and teenagers, and anybody for that matter, is doing our research and studying and finding out the best tools and ways to help people grow and develop. And that is what this is all about. And I think what's happened now around the world is we are guiding and steering children in what schools are not teaching them anymore, or are not fastidious about like they used to be. And that is a big, big negative. So the British School of Excellence launched the Etiquette program, where we take children on a wonderful journey and giving them these incredible tools on how to show up and just be the best version of themselves. And one of the areas we actually open up with, no matter what age you are when you come on one of our programs or courses, or you engage with us, is we get people to do a lot of writing. One of them is note to self: I am my brand. I am my brand. And that is really, really important.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for everything that you do to help us be kinder, be more respectful, and have the emotional intelligence to treat people with integrity.
Absolutely. That's what it's about. And just as our last guest was sharing, you asked Hiba from all the way from Dubai, what would you like to leave everyone? She just says, be kind. Be kind. And that is just some of the most important 2 words you can absolutely adopt. Be kind.
We take it for granted, for sure. It's a great reminder. I want to bring out our guest. Our guest is also a team member and a very good friend of mine. And what I really love about Roland Friedl is that he's so multi-dimensional. What I mean by that is not only is he an incredibly successful entrepreneur and he's got a global business, he's been helping people, mentoring and coaching people for decades. He also cares deeply about our planet, about Mother Earth. And he also cares about men being able to express their feelings. And in addition, he is super aware of how important it is for parents, families, caregivers to bring children up in a certain way, which falls right in with our topic today. Children live what they learn. So let's welcome Roland Friedl to the program. He is a television show host here. He's a moderator of his own shows here. He also is bringing people together from all over the world. I just love it, introducing people and getting people to share their experiences. Welcome to the program, Roland Friedl. Hello.
Hello, everyone. Hello, Dr. Jacalyn. Hello, Philip. Thank you so much for the invitation. I was listening background, and I really, really appreciate what you said, Philip, because it's so important that kids learn a little bit more than they get taught in school. Absolutely. There's a lot of stuff missing. So thanks a lot for the work you're doing. And thanks a lot. It's an honor to be on your show. Thank you.
Thank you for being here for our premiere episode. We really do appreciate you. And Roland, I just was talking about a number of the things that you do. You're really passionate about helping people understand what we need to do to live a long and healthy life. And I know you shared that today is a fasting day for you. Why are you so passionate about this topic, especially when it comes to children?
Well, first of all, I'm passionate about nutrition because, the things that we eat becomes part of our cells, meaning parts of our body. So I try always to take care what I'm eating. Actually, to make it clear, I'm not living an ascetic life or something like that. So I try that 85% of the food I'm taking in is really very healthy, is fresh, is non-processed, is really good food. And the rest is just, some call it cheat days or fun stuff or whatever. Sometimes I love sweets or a glass of wine or something like that. That's not a point. So nutrition is very important to me because I learned it many, many years ago, how nutrition has an impact on my well-being, on my health, on my fitness, on different parts of my life. And when I want to live a happy, joyful, successful life, of course, it's not only about powering and get educated and work and hustle like crazy. It's all about taking care about your body. So your body, your machine has to be fit. Otherwise, you cannot perform in business, in your spare time, in your hobbies, or in your family time or whatever. So nutrition is very, very important, and especially for kids, especially for kids. I'm also a father of 3 boys, luckily grown up. They're living their own lives. But when I look back 30 years ago, when we grew up, the kids, we really had a really deep emphasis on that they get the right nutrition, because I know it's you never can start too early to get on the right track.
Yeah, absolutely, Roland. I'm drawn in by what you said, because I remember growing up, I'm not going to mention any names, but sometimes if we were not acting the way we should be acting, we would get candy. So we would do what we were supposed to be doing or do our chores. And I'm sure there are families out there who are thinking, you know what, I just want them to stop crying or stop talking or just do what I want. Let me give them whatever they want to eat. So how do parents and families, how do they balance that, wanting to have peace in the home at the same time when, children are not interested in eating green beans, for example, or lima beans?
Well, the question is, you want to have peace on the short term, or you want to help the kid on the long term? That's the question. I remember there was a commercial many years. I don't watch TV, but sometimes when I visited friends or family and there's a TV set on, it's many years ago. I guess it was by an Austrian insurance company, and you saw a typical scene. A young mommy with her, I guess it was a daughter, in the supermarket, and when it came to the cashier, there's always in the head of the kids, there's always this sweet stuff. And this kid wanted some sweet, and the mom said no. And the kid was, she was falling down on the floor and screaming, I want it. What I always observe, what most parents do is they give the kid the candy so the kid stops crying. So what I say, what I believe is, or what my opinion is it more important what somebody else in the supermarket thinks about you and your kid that you don't know, or it is more important they care about your kid and what is your kid learning? And in this commercial, what happened was totally different. The mom did not react like the kid was expecting giving the candy. The mom also down on the floor and started screaming. And the kid was like, what's going on? So this mom broke the pattern, they broke the pattern of the kid. So I know it's difficult. I had also 3 sons. Sometimes it was really stressful, when you work a lot and the kids are screaming, especially in a restaurant or a supermarket or whatever. It is hard, yes. But as I said at the beginning, the question is, you want on the short-term piece, or you're taking care about somebody you don't know in the supermarket or restaurant, or you want to really educate, meaning socialize your kid on the long term. That's a question you have to ask yourself.
Thank you for sharing that. And I'm just envisioning her on the floor. Philip, from an etiquette perspective, what is the best thing to do when your child is out of control like that?
Threaten them with prison. No. Look, you have to be well. Look, and I'm one who holds my hand up here. There are times where my wife Kerry she's definitely guided me and steered me on learning to be a lot calmer. But generally, I think generally creating good habits and creating consistency is very, very important. And trying not to incorporate the word no through your guidance and steering with children, because that word no is just very boom, and everyone hears it. No, you can't do this. No, you can't do that. No, not now. And it becomes a very, very sort of negative scenario in the home. And no one likes to hear that word no the whole time. So giving alternatives is a really key area. Giving options. It's either that or there will be consequences. So for example, let's say Friday night's movie night and your child really looks forward to movie night, and if they don't toe the line, then movie night gets taken away. As hard as it is to sort of do that, you've got to put your mark down and make sure that you follow through with those sort of things. I don't believe in physicality on any level. It doesn't work. Some people will obviously contradict that. So it is, you've got to really be patient. That's something else that's fundamental. And just interesting what Roland was sharing there is mimic your children. Mimic them, because I tell you what, when you start to mimic them, they start to then see almost a mirror image, and not a lot of kids like to be mimicked. And so they will obviously either end up in laughter, or your child will hopefully get to a stage of saying, okay, enough's enough.
Thank you, Philip. I love how we're combining etiquette and nutrition together. So, Roland, when is it that we should actually start with a nutritional plan for our children? Is it as soon as they're born? I mean, do we steer away from baby food? I don't know, because I'm not a mother, but what would you say in your experience?
Well, first of all, according to the Chinese medicine, 2 to 3 years before the lady gets pregnant. That's what the Chinese medicine says. Okay, so preparing the mother and the womb in a good state before she gets pregnant. I know most people cannot plan it like this, but that's the best way. Of course, some women understand when they're pregnant that maybe they stop smoking, maybe they stop drinking alcohol, and eat healthier, because whatever you take in, the baby in the womb, also the fetus in the womb, also get nourished by that. To make a long story short, as soon as possible. As soon as possible, really, as soon as possible. I mean, when you did it wrong in the beginning because you didn't know how to make it do it better, can always happen. But really stop it and do it now better, because as soon as possible. Especially kids, I always say kids are no small adults. Kids have special needs. They need much more nutrients. They grow, everything is growing. Their brain, the whole body, the hormones, everything. So they really need good food. And what we see on kids that really start with bad food, really a lot of sugar and stuff like that, they're really suffering. They're really suffering on the mid and long term. So start as early, and as I said, if it's perfect, the mom should start before she gets pregnant.
Yeah, that's fascinating. It's actually, Roland, just what you're sharing. And I think with children, the earlier you can bring in interesting foods and fresh food, with all due respect, if they're hungry, they're going to eat eventually. They will. I mean, that's human nature. And the quality of food, it's not so much the quantity, it's the quality, and fresh food is key. And if anyone wants to watch something very scary, Jamie Oliver, who's a very well-known chef here in the United Kingdom, and I believe he's got a bit of a global reputation, he does a documentary on sugar and what's in the ingredients in, let's say, for example, a pesto sauce. How much sugar is in a little bottle of pesto? No one ever looks at the back of the label. Well, not many people do. And so they buy it because it's easy to, and you think, okay, it's got lovely little pine nuts in there and a little bit of basil and blah, blah, blah. And then they go and make this lovely pasta dish, and they don't realize the amount of sugar that is going into the food. And as we all know, with all due respect, sugar is a very dangerous ingredient, as salt is. And when we give our children too much sugar, the body starts to absorb sugar, and the body starts to rely on that sugar rush. And that's why when we're feeling tired as human beings, we think, oh, we'll have a chocolate bar. You'll get that spike, but then you will deteriorate very quickly off the back of that. So minding what we eat, fresh fruit, and all of those sort of ingredients as early on as possible, I could not advocate more.
Absolutely, Philip. And you know, there's a lot of scientific work done. We know that when you eat healthy, it doesn't matter as a kid or as an adult, and the brain, especially when you get all these phytochemicals that's in fruits and vegetables, and the dog on the receptors in your brain, and then the brain wants more. Yeah. So the earlier you start, you get used to it, you want more. But I think what we have to keep in mind is what is very, very important with the nutrition of the kid is the behaving of the parents. It's the difference between education and socialization. I can tell my kid don't smoke and while I'm a smoker, or I can tell my kid don't eat too much sugar and then I'm on the candy all the time. So kids are watching. They are watching. They are copying us. Yeah, they're mimicking us. So it's very, very important that we as a parent, first of all, have to start with a healthy nutrition, because otherwise it's just words. You know, I guess that's one of the most important things, that we become a role model, and then it's really working, because kids, you know, as a dad and as a mom, especially when kids are small, you're always the hero. You know, the mom is the hero, the dad is the hero. They love mommy, they love daddy. When we as parents behave correctly, eat in this topic about nutrition, when we do the right stuff, then the kids will follow. That's very, very important too.
Yeah, great points you're both making. Thank you. And Roland, I love that background behind you. I don't know who put that together. It's really nice. But what I'm noticing is that not only do you have fresh fruits and you've got some salmon there, you also have what looks like vitamins or supplements. And as a young kid, I was taking Flintstone vitamins, which were, I don't know if you've heard of them outside the States, but really a lot of sugar. They were in the shape of the Flintstones from the cartoon. When do we start giving our children supplements or vitamins?
Well, depending what you understand on the supplement. When it's a natural whole-based food product, you can start it very early. Meaning when the mom is not breastfeeding anymore. And by the way, breastfeeding is the best thing a mom can do as long as possible. As long as it's possible, yeah. If the mom doesn't have enough milk, it's a different way. But if it's possible, breastfeeding is the best start for a newborn baby, because it gets everything it needs. It really boosts the immune system. We know from a lot of studies that kids that did not get breastfeeded, they're really suffering with immune disease. And because the other stuff they get, it has baby food has far much sugar, because the industry wants the baby, the small kid, to become addicted to sugar and then being a constant customer. So as soon as possible. And with supplements, you know, I'm a huge fan of supplements, but only whole food, natural products. No, I don't talk about artificial products, not artificial high dose vitamins. I don't talk about vitamins and minerals that are added to Kellogg's or whatever, you know, the cereals or all this stuff, because I guess it's very, very important that we tell parents, yes, these vitamins are important, but please, in a natural form, as fruits and vegetables and as berries, but not as pharmaceutical, and exception when there is really a disease and a prescription of the doctors. But on the long term, no artificial stuff, no high dose stuff, and please be aware about what Philip said before. when you look at the ingredients, there's, on the other hand, what he mentions, a lot of sugar and stuff, but there are also a lot of artificial vitamins added to the product so that the customer believes that it's healthy. I know when I did nutrition advisory to young parents in Austria, they said to me, yeah, we buy this and this and this candy, because this candy, there's a very famous company in Europe, they advertise their candies, it has 5 essential vitamins. I said, yeah, but it's first it's official, and second it's all the sugar. It's not healthy. So people believe when they go to the supermarket and they buy this different processed food, which a lot of added vitamins, it's worthless. So coming back to your question, Dr. Jacalyn, you can supplement your kids. I'm a member of a study with 2 million families worldwide where we supplement kids with a natural product, and this is absolutely working. Yeah.
Thanks for that, Roland. You know, I'm reminded of something, which is one of our team members and friends, Red O'Loughlin. He actually has a new book that is out today about Alzheimer's and dementia, is that if we start eating sugar at a very early age, we may still have that in our system, that need for that sugar, because it continues to draw us in. It's like an addiction that we have to have it. And there's a relationship between sugar and dementia, from my understanding. So if we get our children off on the right foot by showing them and being role models, then I think their longevity and their mindset is going to be much better off. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. But you know, it's difficult because you know, kids meet other kids in kindergarten. They meet kids at school, at the playground. They see commercials. Then you see all these fast food restaurants. It's difficult as a parent, really difficult. Absolutely, and it's more difficult when I was young. You know, when I was kid, 50 something years ago. There was grocery stores. You wanted a candy, you gave him some sand, and you get one out of a box. And now you can buy, you know, bags of 2 pounds or 3 pounds or larger. So that's the one thing. I give an example with my kids. What we did with our 3 boys is that at home, only healthy stuff. We never had any soft drinks, no sugar, nothing. Even when the mother of my boys stopped breastfeeding after 1.5 or 2 years. To get, you know, this baby stuff, she always made it fresh without any sugar. So they raised up without any sugar at home. When we went to a restaurant, or occasionally was when we have been on a travel or on the weekends or so, in a restaurant, they have been allowed to order whatever they want. Even a Coca-Cola, whatever they want. They could order everything in a restaurant. It was for free to give them some fun. But at home, it was clear no, because most of the time, as we did, we had dinner or lunch at home and breakfast, and not in a restaurant. So at home, 100% healthy. Out of the house, we allowed them to of course to cheat or have some stuff. And the thing is, now they are 32. My oldest is 32. He has 2 kids. He does the same. He's very healthy. My mid one is 29. And my youngest is 25. My youngest is vegan, by the way. And all of them still are not on sugar. Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Amazing.
And I can tell you a little story. You know, when in Europe this huge M came out, and you know, as a parent, you really try the best for the kid, give them the best nutrition, and be a role model. And what happened is this franchise system opened, and what happened? I remember my middle son was invited from a kindergarten friend to a birthday party, and it was, guess where the birthday party was? At the Big M. And I thought, oh my God, what shall I do? What shall I do? I cannot say, no, you're not allowed to go to your peers. You know, what shall we do? And I said, oh, go to the store. What I did is, 2 weeks ago, actually, the mother of my kids was on a business trip before. On a Sunday, I was alone with the 3 boys. We went for breakfast to this company with the large M, and they ordered whatever they want. Then we went for lunch for them, and they could order what they want. And when I said, kids, come on, we go for dinner, they said, no, please not. We don't want it anymore. We don't want it. So my middle son, he went to the birthday party, but he chose a salad. It was funny, really.
It's funny.
It's all about preparing.
They're following your footsteps. Thanks for telling us that. And Philip, I'm wondering, you have a young one at home. What do you do there with sugar? nutrition?
Look, it's very similar to Roland. If we go out, he can sometimes have a Coke Zero, but it's like he has 2 sips and he's already forgotten about it. It's more the whole, but he's a touch wood. He's a wonderful eater. So funny enough, Friday nights we have movie night, and we often tend to get sushi. So he'll eat some fresh fish and that sort of thing. He's got an amazing appetite for fresh fruit and vegetables, and we do allow him. There's a snack drawer here in the house, and that's at his choice, and he never overdoes it. So he might go, and get something that's got a bit of sugar in, but he never overdoes it. So that's very encouraging. But there are times when he might push the envelope a little bit. I mean, he's 8 going on 9. So, it's if you give them too much leeway, they will obviously, take the whole hand sometimes. But it's something that Roland brought up, and you've been asking very poignant questions on Dr. Jacalyn. Many years ago, I'm talking, I don't know, 2014, I was over in China running a workshop for a week with a cohort of children and parents. And there was this lovely lady, Danny, who had her little boy who was absolutely out of control. He must have been 4 years old, 5 years old, out of control, unplayable, hyperactive. And I noticed he was having lots of soft drinks and things. And I pulled Danny aside, and I said, look, the one thing you've really got to focus on is you've got to cut out all sugar with your young son. If you don't, you're going to have somebody that's going to be becoming more and more unplayable. Anyway, I went back about 18 months later to run another workshop, and Danny and her son happened to be there, and she had followed my guidance and steering. A completely different young man had appeared at the workshop, completely off the sugar, off the soft drinks. And we as parents, my kid's hyperactive, they don't know how to behave. What are we feeding our children? It's what are we giving our children? And we all know how important water is in their diet. And we forget, and we think, we'll give them something to drink. We don't think out the box, it's maybe got a little bit of fruit juice in or something that's got sugar in it. But water is the key ingredient for all of us.
Absolutely. Absolutely, Philip. Absolutely with you. That's why I always say to families, give them water. They get used to it, and no soft drinks at all, only occasionally. And what's also important, what you said, is with all the sugar, because for me, sugar is the worst drug in the world. It's the worst drug in the world, really, because once you're addicted, it's so difficult to get away. And especially kids, when they start very early, and we know that they get brain damage is very, very early, and in the end they end up with dementia. And when you look at the figures now, we're all getting older, but we are getting, but the thing is, we are suffering longer of disease and dementia, Parkinson, and also. It's incredible how it exploded. But when you look at the people, what they ate on a daily basis, like my mom, she's totally demented. She even doesn't recognize me. She was always on sugar, cakes, candies, cakes, no matter. So it's really difficult to get them off the sugar. And what I always say to parents, really, when you buy something in the supermarket, read the ingredients. And when you have 100 grams, how many percent is sugar? Especially when you look at a breakfast, it starts in the morning with a breakfast. Kids going to school or to kindergarten, and in the morning, what is a normal breakfast? It's toast and marmalade, or you have a chocolate cream, or they have some cereals. Then they had a hot chocolate or something like that. Hopefully not the coffee in the morning for the young. So, and this is a sugar index. This is amazing. That the sugar goes up in the blood, the insulin works again, bringing the sugar level down in the blood. So the kids go to the kindergarten or in school, and the sugar level goes down because the insulin, of course, tries to get down. And the kids get tired. They're not focused. And then what they want is, mostly the kids had a snack in school, they have a chocolate bar or something, boom, the sugar goes up. And then we wonder why they're so hyperactive. It's because of the sugar. It's just because of sugar. I give an example. Sometimes, I don't know why, but sometimes once a month, every 6 weeks, I just enjoy a special chocolate. And I really have a lot of it. And sometimes I really have too much. And I'm just like on cocaine. I cannot sleep the whole night. I am thirsty. I feel I have a headache the next day. So sugar is like that. And I said, oh, that's how kids must feel who are on a sugar diet on every day. You like on cocaine. You're like this. Yeah, you're hyperactive. And then on the other way, kids don't have enough opportunities to do sports, especially in school and in the kindergarten. They sit too much. But it's another topic.
Yeah, it's so true. And two things, one, a comment, and then a question. The comment is this morning I decided to go for a 3-mile walk before going to work, which normally I do it afterwards. And I came home and I had a piece of chocolate cake with peanut butter, and my stomach is killing me. It's been killing me ever since I ate it. And I'm thinking, why did you do that to yourself? You did something great, and then you come back and you do that. And it's just not worth it. So my question is, when we think about water, there's so many different types of water, at least here in the States, where, the name of the brand is Hint, where there's a hint of fruit, but you look at it, it shows no sugar. So is it okay to drink carbonated water that has some kind of lemon, lime, or other fruit infusion in it?
Well, the best way is just pour water, and the best way to get water is from the pipe. And when the water that comes out is not good, buy a water filtration system, whatever you prefer. That's the best way. I don't know how it's in the US, but in Europe, water is the best, protected food in the different countries. So the governments or the organizations and companies who provide the households with water, they are tested all the time. So the best way is water from the tap. Nothing, if possible, nothing in bottle. I mean, for me, it doesn't make sense, like in the Middle Age, we walked to somewhere and bring water home, like in the supermarket. Everybody has a tap at home. Just open it, and it's not good. Water filter system is the best one. It's the best way. The other way is buy still water, no sparkling water. We know that the bubbles are not really healthy, first of all, and when it has a flavor, there's always hidden sugar. Maybe they don't write sugar on it. Maybe it's a different term on it, but it's always a little bit sugar in any kind of sugar. Sometimes fructose, maltodextrin, it's different kind of sugar. The industry, they get clever and clever. They know that people try to avoid sugars, and they always find different names and different terms, but they always sugar. And also when you have a kid that really already is obese, sometimes parents say, "Yeah, I have a soft drink that is has zero sugar." There's one thing to keep in mind. It doesn't make any difference if a kid or an adult drinks a Coke or whatever, a normal one with sugar or with zero. It doesn't make any difference. The reason for that is most people don't know, but there's a lot of science stuff out of there. The insulin reacts already in the mouth. So when you're under your tongue, there's your taste stuff, and when under your tongue, when your mouth tastes sweet, the body produces insulin. Doesn't matter what the source of sweetness is. So even if it's a low calorie, zero product, it doesn't matter. The body produces insulin because it reacts in the mouth. Meaning, when you produce insulin is I don't know for the English word how to say it. In German, they say a mast hormone. So it's a hormone that you feed pigs to grow and get fat. So when you produce insulin, it's very bad for your body. You cannot lose weight on the other hand. You don't have testosterone enough, which is bad for the male ones. So we have to keep in mind, and what most people don't know, and when you look at the street, when you see obese people, they buy low-fat stuff, they buy low-sugar stuff, zero stuff, and they're still obese. The reason for that is because your mouth, your taste under the tongue, they taste sweet, bang, and the body immediately produces insulin. And that's the point. So these products don't work. So the best is just no sugar, just pure water is the best one. Or sometimes mix it with a fruit juice. But when you buy an apple juice, for example, it has the same calories like a soft drink. Especially these fruit juices. Most people believe that fruit juices are so healthy. Not at all. Please stay away from it. Because I give you an example. Some family believe, yeah, my kid every Sunday they get a fresh squeezed orange juice. It's terrible. It's a sugar bomb, because your kid would never eat 5 oranges, eat 1 maybe, and get all the fibers too. But who eats 5 or 6 oranges like you put in a juice? It sounds healthy. It's not. It's just a sugar bomb.
So many great points you brought up there. And something I want to share is smoothies, for example, and I know, Roland, you and I have discussed this before. It seems like such a great idea, but when you look at how much stuff you're putting in there, and then you're always putting in something that has that sweetness to it, whether it's apple juice or something. And I started thinking to myself, there's no way I would ever be eating all of this stuff at one time, but then you blend it up and you don't even think about how many calories there are. So I don't know. Are you, either of you, a fan of smoothies?
Well, sometimes when on the go, sometimes, you know, when I'm traveling, I'm living in my hotel, I'm traveling. Sometimes, of course, I go for a smoothie because it nourishes me. But I am aware it's a sugar intake, especially when it's not a very green one. When you have some, I don't know, pineapples or kind of figs or whatever you like, banana or apples inside. I know that's a sugar bomb. You can take it, of course, no problem. But don't believe it. It's a healthy stuff. It's a sugar bomb.
Thank you, Philip.
Yeah, I'm in agreement with that. It is. It's all about the ingredients, and it's a known fact that when you blend up fresh fruit into pure juice, it's going to absolutely react exactly the same way as, let's say, a sugar infused carbonated drink, 150%. And going back to what Roland was talking about water. Those waters that say pure water on the bottle, that you're hydrating yourself, but you're not giving your body any good nutrients at all. Within top quality water, and I've just shared something with you in our studio chat box there, Dr. Jacalyn, about Zac Efron and his colleague go off around the world to various places. And if anyone has not seen the show, it's called Down to Earth, and Zac Efron really does go out there and educates the audience on looking after this planet, looking after ourselves. And they go and actually meet a water sommelier. And you talk about amazing waters that have the most incredible ingredients in there. And it nourishes your body. It gives you the minerals and the nutrients that we need as human beings. So people mustn't just think, I'm drinking lots of water all day. Water is energy. Water can boost you if you're drinking the right sort of quality water.
Yeah, great point. And I'm sharing here what it is you're just referring to for Zac Efron. So anyone looking at the screen, you can see what folks referring to.
We also have to keep in mind that water is not just when you're thirsty. Water is it's cooling your body. It's transporting the nutrients to your cells. It's also transporting the dead cells and stuff out of your body. So water has a lot of functions. And the purer the water is, the more ingredients from your body, for example, the dog stuff, it can absorb and transport out, or the other way around. So when you drink something that is a juice already, or I don't know, coffee or whatever it is, I love coffee too, but whatever you drink, and the water is already full, then it can't absorb other ingredients anymore and cannot transport. So the purer the water, the better it is. Absolutely.
You know, when you talk about water out of the tap, there is an article today here in the news that a man in Florida, the state of Florida, which is where I am, but it's a big state, that he took water from the tap to clean out his sinuses, and he got some flesh-eating bacteria in his brain. So I don't know about water from the tap unless it's filtrated, and that was the point that you made.
Absolutely. Yeah. Water filtration system. And, you know, I spent many years in Vienna, and Vienna is very famous for one of the best type water it ever has. It comes from the mountain. In theory, yes. The problem is that the tubes are very old. The water is really very good. It's fantastic for a huge city, but the tubes in the city are very, very old, you know. And that's why even in Vienna, we always had water from the tap, but always filtered. We always used a filtration system, always. And as I said, for me, it doesn't make sense to bring water home, you know, like people hundreds of years ago walking to a river or wherever and bringing water home. That's what people go to the supermarket and bring the water home. It doesn't make sense. But I know it's a huge industry. I mean, I don't know the figures in the US or in UK, but in my home country in Austria, years ago when water became popular, especially sparkling water, the growth of this industry was incredible every year, and they really commercialized it. Yeah, buy bottled water. But it's not good. It's not good.
Yeah, I just want to go back to how much water children should be drinking. And again, I know you've already addressed this, but I've heard parents say, well, it has water in it. You know, if it's iced tea, for example, it has water in it. It has to be the pure water itself, not water that's mixed into something else, right?
Pure water is the best, of course, but when somebody drinks a herbal tea, for example, or eats a healthy vegetable soup, there's also water, and this is also good again. This is also good, yeah. I mean, we also have to keep in mind too much water is also not good, because when you drink too much water, you lose a lot of minerals too, because the water is absorbing the minerals in your body and brings it out too. That when we sweat, for example. So too much water is also not good. We have to find a good balance and find it out. There's one thing. When you feel thirsty, your body is already suffering. And you feel thirsty. Most people or most kids drink only when they're thirsty, especially smaller kids. We as a parents, we have to take care about them and really try to think, especially on a hot day or when they run a lot, when they exercise a lot, that they drink regularly, maybe a sip every 15 minutes, something like that. Because kids say, I'm thirsty, but then it's already too late. I mean, not too late, you can still drink, but then there's also a little damage in your cells that we know. So that's what we have to drink on a regular basis. And especially from smaller kids who don't know it. We have to make sure that there's always fresh water available. It's just a sip every 15 minutes, just a sip. That's quite good. And what I add on this is, because some people told me, some parents say, my kids is self-responsibility, she can do or he can do whatever they want. No, until a certain age, for 5 to 6 years, no. We have to tell them what is good or bad for them. Kids don't know it. When they're grown up as a teen, they can make their own decisions, but in the beginning, no, not at all. And also not with nutrition. No, not at all. You as a parent, you're in charge that your kids get healthy, nourishing food.
Thank you, Roland. I want to go over to Philip and ask how you feel about that.
I'm fully in cahoots with Roland. I think absolutely spot on. I can't even better what Roland was sharing and saying. It is all about, as this title of this specific program is, children are going to follow in our footsteps, and we can guide them and we can steer them. Something that's really fascinating is over the couple of years that we've had Harley, we've been very fortunate to go on a couple of cruises, and when I first heard we were going on a cruise, I nearly fainted and said, no, I was kicking and screaming and said never. Anyway, long story short, we went on a cruise, and Kerry won a cruise in the bingo, and so we went cruising again. Anyway, the long short of it, done a bit of cruising since then. But what I've noticed, and which is really criminal, is that they have soda fountains around these ships, and that people can go at any time and fill up their cup. And you see these young little kids at 8, 9 in the morning going up and filling up their plastic cups that they've been given at the beginning of the cruise. And that, for me, I know this is going to come across as harsh, but as parents, you're setting your children up to fail. And we have the duty to make sure that we bring our children up as best as we can, and that starts with what we're feeding them and how we are showing them through our etiquette and our manners and our kindness. And this is exactly, children will absolutely learn what they see and what they are exposed to, 150%. Unfortunately, it's the old adage, monkey see, monkey do. And this is a very serious issue we have around the world. And something else that I popped in the chat there was this sugar rush that Jamie Oliver did this documentary on. I would urge anyone out there, if you want to be guided and steered on how dangerous sugar is, then just watch that program. It's actually scary.
Thank you, Philip. I'm popping that up right now so people can see it. Yeah, a couple of comments that I have. One being that we don't have time to discuss it today, but I've heard people speak on, and I know family members who do this, how important it is to give the right nutrition to your pets, especially your dogs, to give your dogs people food that's real, authentic, as opposed to what comes in bags that has all kinds of fillers. So we can touch on that hopefully at another time. And the other thing I wanted to share is I had an aunt who was diagnosed with cancer, and the first thing the doctor said was, get off the sugar. If you have any chance, you want to stay around, no more sugar. And so she actually hired a chef because there's sugar in so many things that everything had to be made from scratch. And she actually got an extra 3 years of life by doing that.
Yeah. Well, Dr. Shing, that's the problem. When you go to a supermarket, you don't see food. You see things that look like food, but it's not food anymore. It looks like food, but it's not food anymore.
No, wait, I do have a question. I do have a question because this is my shortfall. What if you get a pizza and it is made right there in front of you? You see what they're putting into it. And I know you can't eat pizza every day, but isn't that sort of natural? Because I'm not saying it's the healthiest thing, but there's no preservatives in it.
Well, when it's freshly made, why not? And I think, as I said in the beginning, I try to eat healthy 80-85%, and the rest I'm just enjoying. For example, a good pizza. And it's also important when you enjoy something like a pizza or something sweet, an ice cream or whatever it is, when you do it, then enjoy it without feeling guilty. Enjoy it and then leave it and go back to the healthy stuff. Yeah, why not?
Question I have before we close out. I know I'm taking us further out, but is it okay? Because I know some people feel this way. Okay, air quotes. I'm not going to eat as well as I could because I have a whole box of vitamins that I can take. So I'm just going to take them and then that's going to do the job.
No.
You're both laughing.
No.
You know what it's like? It's like saying to an alcoholic, you can have a cheat day. You know, you can have a cheat day. Yeah, you would never tell an alcoholic you can have a cheat day. It's just never going to happen because you'll know what will happen if you offer that cheat day. So yeah, supplements are not a supplement in that respect. And funny enough, and I know Roland will agree with me here, if you're giving your children and yourself, you're eating correctly, you actually need very few extra supplements out there. I mean, these pharmaceutical companies and that are making a fortune out there because they feed you this nonsense that you need this and you need that. In certain scenarios, we do. So here in the UK, we need a boost in our vitamin D because we don't get the best sort of weather at times. So we need certain aspects to enhance our existence. But when we sold these tablets, that's a wonder tablet and it's going to give you X, Y, and Z, blah, 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 I would be very skeptical a lot of the time.
Thank you for that.
Absolutely, Philip. I mean, I'm a huge fan of supplement, but I said whole-based fruit, natural one. And for me, when I take supplements in almost 30 years, but it's not a replacement for healthy nutrition, for healthy food. It's just an addition to bridge the gap between what I should eat and I do eat on a daily basis. But it's not a replacement, and that's what you just said, Philip. That's what the industry tries to sell us. You know, eat whatever you want, don't care, and then a bill will fix it. No, it's not. It's not. Absolutely not.
Absolutely. And just to reiterate, Roland, what you were sharing earlier about low-fat products, they should be banned. They are worse for you than full. So we always buy full cream milk. I mean, these low-calorie, low-fat things are just so bad for you. And it's feeding the audience. And you walk into stores and look where the stores place the sweets and the candy. Mm-hmm. At eye level, it's all scientifically sought out. This is all about how are we going to sell? How are we going to sell? How are we going to influence people? And that's what it is. It's literally down to the word, the power of influence. And that, unfortunately, is exactly how we are all absolutely 100% influenced in the wrong direction.
Absolutely.
And to your point, it's kind of interesting. I noticed that some of the big chain stores, the big box stores that sell, let's say, technology, or they sell office supplies, they now have a line. You have to go through this carousel, and all along are candy and all kinds of things that are not good for you because you're standing there waiting. What are you going to do? Hey, you know what? I could use a candy bar. Why not? I'll pick up this. I'll pick up that. So it is all carefully thought out.
Completely. 100%. And I really urge anyone out there listening to this wonderful show, and thank Roland, just been your I know you're just scratching the tip of the surface, but what Dr. Jacalyn just showed there, the Jamie Oliver Sugar Rush and the Zac Efron show, Down to Earth. Do yourselves a favor, go out there and watch those, because you will learn so much, and hopefully you will see how important it is to really take note of what we've been talking about.
Absolutely. Thank you, Philip. And Roland, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today and to share this. And as Philip said, this is just scratching the surface. So we'd love to have you come back on another episode. How can people reach out to you, Roland? And what are the shows that you are currently doing here on this platform?
What I'm doing on this platform, every Wednesday I just have to count. Every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central European Time, I do the Mallorca Connection since more than a year, where I interview interesting people with interesting backgrounds. That's the Mallorca show. Afterwards, every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Central European Time, meaning 8 p.m. GMT, it's the Men Show, Wild at Heart, a show for men, by men, about men. That every second Wednesday, we do the Earth Show. It's an environmental show. It's all about respecting and protecting Mother Earth. And every second week, we also do an amazing show that I really love. It's called, together with you, Dr. Jacalyn, It's Your Healthy Lifestyle. So actually 4 shows. Yeah. And to contact me, just go on, as I said, on my main website. It's my name, rolandfriedl.com. I will spell it for those guys who are listening on a radio station or broadcast. Is ROLANDFRIEDL.com. And whoever wants to contact me, I'm always interested in people, their stories, what drives them, where they're coming from. So it's all about sharing, caring, and connecting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Roland. And for those of you who haven't seen the men's show, Wild at Heart, it really is a hoot on backstage broadcasting. But all the shows that Roland does are fantastic. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
And Philip, you are doing The Power of Etiquette and Manners right before this show. You're doing this show, Children Live What They Learn, and also starting on Talking Heads. Tell people how they can get in touch with you and the value that you bring there at the British School of Excellence.
Thank you, Dr. Jacalyn. Well, firstly, what an outstanding show. Thank you so much, Roland, and thank you, Dr. Jacalyn, for bringing this, sharing this with the world. Here at the British School of Excellence, we really do focus on building confidence and changing lives from any age group right across the board, and we love embracing and helping people. So if any of you out there are interested in connecting or engaging with us, please go to our website, www.thebritishschoolofexcellence.com, or you can email us at hello@thebritishschoolofexcellence.com. We would love to engage. We love talking on the phone or having a Zoom call. The choice is yours, and please do take the time to engage with us.
Thanks, Philip. Sorry, can you also share with our audience about the retreat that's coming up?
Yes, so we are now working on an amazing opportunity. We're putting together a steering group to launch a power weekend or a power 5 days, 4 or 5 days, where we're bringing incredible people together and learning and growing and being coached and coaching and that sort of thing. It's going to be towards the beginning of September 2023. We're going to find an amazing venue with wonderful weather and open waters that we can really soak up, not just the weather and the beautiful place, but one another's energy and just knowledge and guidance and steering. So this is something that we are very, very excited about launching.
Thank you very much, Philip. And thank you so much, Roland. I've really enjoyed this show. It was a fabulous first episode.
Thank you. Thank you.
We will be coming right back with Talking Heads, and the star of our show is Dr. Madeline Chan. So please do stay tuned for that. Gentlemen, have a beautiful evening and the rest of your weekend. I will definitely be in touch.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
Bye, everyone.
Thank
Have
you.
a great
Bye-bye.
weekend. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.